Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Yes, I was on the Vindicator channel earlier on having a delightful conversation with, I forget what his nickname is on Twitter, Saint Militia. Let me go and have a look and see what his name is on Twitter. I'm going to show you something else in a minute. Spartan Militia is his name on Twitter. But he's got a channel called the Vindicator. But just to make sure everyone is aware, my back is slightly improving. I'm hoping that I've got an osteopath appointment on Thursday and it should increase. So I'm going to ask everyone, can you see and hear me? Because I have to be very careful how long I sit in this chair for. Our next seminar at Western-super-Mare is the 7th of April. It is indeed. And we'll try and get as much. I've got to get some stuff off my other laptop and make that a very special one. Let me have a look. Give me a 5B5. Now, there was a number of parts of the conversation on Vindicated or the Vindicator earlier on. But before I say anything, I keep hearing these elements about ethonats and I do think it's really strange. I'm talking as a constitutionalist and someone who understands the law, that someone who is a unionist is not a nationalist. It's the reverse, right? So if anyone who thinks they're an ethno-nationalist and they're in some way aligned by talking about the British, you are not. The British is a construct of a civnat unionist. It is a product of that parliament. It is a legal fiction. And I'm just making sure everyone understands that. There was the ethno-nats remind me of love thy neighbour, right? And what do I mean by that? Well, I want to show you a clip, right? So again, these are not my words. This is a script from Love Thy Neighbour. And I'm going to show you it. I want you to listen very carefully to what's said. Let's see if I can get back into this. I've got to go back into it. So I'm going to show you this. I'm probably going to play it 2 or 3 times because I'm like that, just so everyone understands it. There it is on the screen. Right, I'm going to bring that up, and hopefully everyone can hear this. Right, so this is so I got brought up in the 70s, well 60s, 70s. By the early 80s, I was actually married. But have a look at this.
It is not a load of rubbish. It's proper custom, as laid down by the Labour Party and the trade union movement.
Cobblers.
I'll thank you to remember you're a guest in this country. And as such, you should do us the courtesy of observing our customs.
Man, it is so hypocritical. You call me brother, right? But do you really think of me as a brother?
So long as you're a fully paid-up member of the union, you're entitled to be called brother. Quite right, Brother Eddie. Thank you, Brother Arthur. My personal opinion of you as a nignog has got nothing to do with it.
Right, so I'm going to play this again because people...
It is not a load of rubbish. It's proper custom, as laid down by the Labour Party and the trade union movement.
Cobblers.
I'll thank you to remember you're a guest in this country. And as such, you should do us the courtesy of observing our customs.
Man, it is so hypocritical. You call me brother, right? But do you really think of me as a brother?
So long as you're a fully paid-up member of the union, you're entitled to be called brother. Quite right, Brother Eddie. Thank you, Brother Arthur. My personal opinion of you as a nignog has got nothing to do with it.
Right, so all I'm doing is pointing out the hypocrisy, if you want to call it that, of British nationalists, right? Because what British nationalists are actually doing, and there was a conversation that come up about Ian Wright today, and they said, is he English? I said, no, he's not English. I don't believe he should ever have played for an English football team, right? Arsenal are not a London team, right? You've only got to look at the makeup of the team, right? But I'm being honest with people. I tell you as I see it from the law, right? And what the law says about these situations is that Ian Wright is British. If you don't like it, change it, right? So Ian Wright is not English, but he is British. And because the British Nationality Act 1948 and 1981, that's what it created, right? So so the way I see it, you've got all these British nationalists who are actually, there's no such thing as a British nation, right? Britain is an island, right? And when you actually look at what they're talking about, let me see if I can turn these hearing aids down because they're driving me mad. They're too loud. I turned them up in the pub so I could hear the governor of the pub talking to me, and it went pear-shaped. Now I sound like I'm underwater, right? So understand what I'm trying to say to people. That even the BNP, right, the British National Party, I would never remember. It's an absolute nonsense, right? It is laughably stupid, right? Because Britain is not a nation. It's a unitary state. It's a union. It's a political union. When you wave the British flag, you're waving the flag of Parliament. It's a parliamentary flag. It doesn't represent England. How many constituencies in England can you go to and say that that Parliament represents you? None of them, right? How many people can go to the Scottish Assembly, which isn't a Parliament, it's actually an assembly of the European Union, or Wales, which is an assembly of the European Union, of Northern Ireland, which is an assembly of the European Union, right? There are 12 regions of the British Isles, and there are 9 regions of England. They seek to destroy England. But the hypocrisy, and it is, of British nationalists complaining about people like Ian Wright, when all they've got to do is say, right, let's go back to because that was a serious situation with the British Nationality Act, right? People have been indoctrinated to believe that you're British. If your dad is Scottish and your mum is English and your great aunt Agatha is Irish, then you're British. No, it isn't. It was a legal fiction created by Parliament, a British Union Parliament, in the same way as the Soviet Union, right? And its Politburo created Soviets. What happened in 1991 when that was all dissolved? They went back to being Russian. They went back to being the actual tribal, natural thing that people that they were and the communities that they were, right? That's all I'm saying. So you need to understand that. No, we'll have a drink though. Cold drink, if you got one. So I'm speaking to my my wonderful assistant. So does everyone understand that? Do you want me to play that again so you can see the hypocrisy? Why I say that is because he was representing, I forget his name. What is his name in the series? The white geezer that's representing the union. And basically he was saying, as long as you play your dues to the union, then you are a brother, right? Well, that's the same with British, right? If you pay your taxes as a British citizen, you are being protected by the British state as that person. They're flooding the people into the country to completely take control of England and destroy England. If you are a true nationalist, right, you will stand up and say, listen, I mean, I know black people that are more English, trust me, that are more English than so-called British nationals because they completely get it, When you say to them, you do realise you cannot be, if you go back to an English constitution, you can't have any position of power, but your great-great-grandchildren or your great-grandchildren could do. They're like, I don't want to have a position of power, right? I just want to be normal. I just want to be treated with respect. And by the way, the English constitution, it doesn't matter about your colour. It's not mentioned anywhere in the English constitution. It doesn't matter. It mentions religion, which brings me on to the next. You're all getting this, by the way. Have I made sense of that? Do you understand why this is so important? Let me go back to it because I think it's important to show it again. I want you to see, even though this is a comedy, I want you to see this is. So imagine the ethonats who believe they're British nationalists when it doesn't even exist in the first place, right? All of these constructs. This is how stupid it is, right? This is how they destroyed us. Just watch it. I'll show it again.
It is not a load of rubbish. It's proper custom, as laid down by the Labour Party and the trade union movement.
Ah, cobblers.
I'll thank you to remember you're a guest in this country. And as such, you should do us the courtesy of observing our customs.
Man, it is so hypocritical. You call me brother, right? But do you really think of me as a brother?
So long as you're a fully paid-up member of the union, you're entitled to be called brother. Quite right, Brother Eddie. Thank you, Brother Arthur.
No.
My personal opinion of you as a nignog has got nothing to do with it.
That's not how you do it. Right, sorry about that. Hang on a minute. No, but it's one capful, and then the rest of the pint is water. That's like an OD on minerals, that is. Not that it would cause any problems apart from... let me just... I'll do that again without speaking.
It is not a load of rubbish. It's proper custom, as laid down by the Labour Party and the trade union movement.
Ah, cobblers.
I'll thank you to remember you're a guest in this country. And as such, you should do us the courtesy of observing our customs.
Man, it is so hypocritical. You call me brother, right? But do you really think of me as a brother?
So long as you're a fully paid-up member of the union, you're entitled to be called brother. Quite right, Brother Eddie. Thank you, Brother Arthur. My personal opinion of you as a nignog has got nothing to do with it.
Right, that is basically what I'm putting to you. Can you see the hypocrisy of that? That's like saying, if anyone says to me they're British, right? I don't see them as English. I see them as the enemy, right? And the 2011 census showed you that, right? That's all I'm saying to people. If you're either a nationalist or you're not. If you are a nationalist, you believe in Scotland, Wales, England, Northern Ireland as a separate nation, and Cornwall, right? And self-determination being the number one right. We are not interested in any Britishness or British Empire or British values or anything that they're talking about. We're talking about England, right? I am only talking about England. I am not Scottish. I am not Irish. I'm not Welsh. Thank fuck. And I am not only joking to our Welsh audience, right? And I'm not Cornish, right? I'm an Englishman. And all I'm saying is the English have rights, right? So let's go back to that. Can you all see that? Taffy Pat, I'm only joking. And we take the piss out of each other, by the way, which we should do. We're trying to persuade the pub tomorrow to do Guinness at 50 pence a pint, but she ain't having none of it. I said you wait till we get to St George's Day. So we should get there. But bringing us on to the next part of this subject, right? Here is a book I mentioned today on the Vindicators channel, right? Select statutes and cases of documents that illustrate the English constitutional history, right? Importantly, there's a number of elements to this, but one of the elements I'm going to show you is at page 188, statutes and documents. The Roman Catholic Emancipation Act. It was brought in under George IV in 1829, and it goes into a lot of detail. But what I'm going to do over to make sure that you understand there are elements. Now, we did all of this for a reason. This isn't 1829. That again, so at section 28, be it therefore enacted that every Jesuit and every member of any other religious order, community or society of the Church of Rome bound by monastic or religious vows, who at the time of the commencement of this act shall be within the United Kingdom, shall within 6 calendar months after the commencement of this act deliver to the clerk of the peace of the county or place where such person shall reside, or to his deputy, a notice or statement in a form that containing particulars required to be set forth in the schedule of this act, annexed, right? So you go and have a look at that and it tells you what they've got to do, right? There's many other parts, but this one's at 29, and it is further enacted that if any Jesuit or member of any such religious order, community or society, as foresaid, shall after commencement of this act come into this realm, he will be deemed and taken to be guilty of a misdemeanor, and being therefore lawfully convicted, shall be sentenced and ordered to be banished from the United Kingdom for the term of his natural life. Right? Why did they do that? Why did they exile people? Because they were Jesuits. Because they were a threat to the nation, right? And to the nation of England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, right? And again, another section there, section 30, natural born subjects being Jesuits may return into the kingdom and be registered, because you was a threat, right? They was a threat. There's another part here, again, this is at section 3, and it be further enacted in any case any Jesuit or member of any such religious order, community or society, as foresaid, shall after the commencement of this act within any part of the United Kingdom admit any person to become regular, ecclesiastic or brother or member of any such religious order, community or society, or be aiding or consenting thereto, or shall administer or cause to be administered any oath, vow, or engagement purporting or intending to bind the person taking the same to the rules, ordinances, and ceremonies of such religious order, right? Community or society. Go and read the Jesuits' oath. Read the Jesuits' oath, and you'll find out why I keep talking about them. They haven't gone away. They're still there. Care for Cali, Jesuits was on their webpage until I started talking about it online on Rumble, right? And then they removed it. So again, the Jesuits are all there. So why did the English, even in, and bearing in mind we had a lot more problems than that, Jesuits have been banned. I can't remember what the figure is, but I'm sure someone out in the audience can look it up for me, right? The reason I tell you to do your own research is because if you learn it for yourself, you will believe what you're reading. You'll see it and understand it yourself. So if you've done a search on Google now and say, or anywhere, let's say X on Grok, and say to Grok, right, how many countries were Jesuits banned from throughout Europe and other nations throughout the world? Can you list how many countries banned Jesuits, right? Just to see what it comes back with, right? And then put it in the chat so everyone understands, right? It's not me. By the way, this is the Jesuits are the military arm of the Roman Catholics. The Roman Catholics are an extension of the Roman Empire. The British Empire was an extension of that same empire. And by the way, President Putin has already stated that we are not part of your Roman Empire, right? People have had enough of it. So let me just add, National Lottery has been funding Care for Calais. Doesn't surprise me. Evening, everyone. Hello. So don't forget, sharing is caring. I'm only here to tell you what the law is and what the truth of the law is. And again, I'm going to show you something else. Hopefully I can bring it up. Not sure if that's going to bring it up or that's going to bring it up. That one looks like it's going to bring it up. Let me bring that up on your screen, right? So this is the Constitution of England, written by a non-professional, right? So it was known in England that every Englishman was a common lawyer. They understood what their rights were, and they understood the Constitution of England. So the third edition improved and enlarged. What nation is there so great, right, that have statutes and judgments so righteous, right? And again, there's some other bits and pieces in there, but London, and that was 1802, I think it was, right? But I'm going to go back and show you something else, hopefully. Stop sharing, and then I'll go back to that one. Let's see if I can find you this other part. Hopefully, I will be able to show you this on the screen, right? So this channel is about education, because it's been removed from the education system, the curriculum, whether it be state education and comprehensive schools. The slow march through the institution has come from the universities, etc., right? But everyone should understand what's actually going on here. So what I'm going to do is show you this one. And then I'm going to show you the next part, because I'm going to blow it up a little bit. There it is on your screen, right? These are actually images from that real book. You can see this is an image I took earlier from that, right? Page 74, right? We're going to drop down and I'm going to say this. How truly ridiculous and absurd. A member certainly ought to consult his constituents about their local interests, which is what Rupert Lowe is doing now, right? Respecting which they are better judges than himself. But as to questions of general policy, he has the sole constitutional right, Party politics shouldn't come into this. He has the sole constitutional right to vote agreeably to his own conviction, right? So if he listens to something and he disagrees, and when you've got this situation in Parliament at the moment with whips, when it's a 1-line, 2-line, 3-line whip, that is a code. And the reason they used it as a code, right, is because it was illegal and against the Constitution. So they couldn't outwardly say to someone, if you do this. So they said it's a 3-line whip, it's a 2-line whip, it's a 1-line whip, right? It was coded to get around the Constitution of England. That's disgusting, right? And it should have been challenged a long time ago. Right, so what I'm going to do now is come back to this one, because I've brought this and I've brought this out, right? So you've got the constitutional right to vote agreeably. Don't forget, this is an original book from 1802. If indeed a representative should do anything which his constituents may justly consider as injurious to them, or if they just think what's going on now, we're flooding the country with migrants and all sorts of vile people that you can't not say this isn't injurious to us, right? Disapproving general political conduct, they have a remedy at hand, which they can administer at the next election. Someone else asked the question today, is how can you get rid of an MP? Well, constitutionally, you don't elect another one. So you've got to get your own people back in there. And then what we've got to do is impeach these judges. That is the constitutional position of England, right? I believe certainly 1,000, maybe 2,000 of our 3,300 judges need to be impeached. If it was down to me, I'd fucking hang the bastards, right? They need fucking hanging by due process, right? King Alfred did it. This is all part of English law. When you perjure your oath and you commit treason, right, there is a sentence for it in English law, to be hanged, drawn and quartered, right? The ravens and the eels of the great Father Thames would have a good feast. remedy at hand, which they can administer the next election, and representatives will, knowing that his constituents can refuse to return him again, will probably often think it prudent and proper to consult with them and attend to their wishes in matters in which they are exclusively concerned, right? Rupert Lowe is actually doing the job of a real member of parliament. As our constitution stated, he is there to represent the people. He is there to represent and air the grievances of his constituents in parliament, right? And that's why they're trying to bankrupt me now, right? Because they don't like the system to be exposed of what it is, right? So hopefully everyone's got that. Any questions from this wonderful audience? And did anyone see the Vindicator today? I think it's the Vindicator. Anyone see that on the channel today? Did anyone see that today? And was everyone quite happy with it? It was a 2-hour long video. I sat in this chair for 2 hours. I had to seriously stretch and walk about with me back and get it moving. It's been twinging a bit since. But I am trying to get myself back into normal positions. I might have to get a new mattress. I'm sure the mattress here is no good. Raymond Cat question. I thought under the Constitution, Ian Wright is legally English, but not ethnically English. No, under the Constitution. So under the Constitution, he would be. He is legally British. He can never be English. Englishness is associated with our ancestors and with us, right? But what I'm trying to say to people, and people don't get this, if a black person has been here for 300 years, right, and there's not many of them, there's fraction, right? I mean, when I say fraction, there's not many that have been here for 200 or 300 years and subsequent generations, right? But if they have been, they're regarded as English. Their ancestry, even though ethnically they're still not English, right? Culturally, they are English. And that's what the English Constitution set out to do. And I don't like calling them Ethno-Nats because most of them are British. And they just, it beggars belief. It's so simple. I just think, why can't you get it? Why don't you understand that do you understand that your British Parliament created the problem you've got now, right? So if you took it out of the game completely, which is what I advocate, void for bad faith the Acts of Union, A.V. Dicey tells us the same thing in his second book, right? Which they all want to, the left always talk about A.V. Dicey. A.V. Dicey says Parliament is sovereign, right? Well, in his second book, in his other comments, he always said, no, it ain't, right? So they're not getting it. Is that answered your questions? So what I'm saying to people is, I'm not bitching about Ian Wright. I don't believe he should be playing in the English football team, right? We've got enough local white people playing all over the country that should be in our national team, right? And they're not, because lots of foreigners are in that team. Vindicator, yes. So you see it. Good. Watch 20 minutes. Yeah, it was a long one. It went on for 2 hours. But he's a nice fella. He was asking genuine questions. He's just a normal, everyday working man just like me, and we're having a conversation, right? Some people don't like that conversation, but we're being honest, right? I grew up in the 60s and 70s, right? I don't know what they call me with their new Marxist terms that they've all adopted, right? But it's further division of Marxism by talking about different Englishmen as some superset of English, right? That's not the way it works. Jock the Lad, yeah, it was great D-Day. So Jock the Lad was out there. That's over 2 hours on Vindicator. Pushing towards 300. We're in the chat. at the time watching the interview. He's a nice fellow. A few trolls on that chat channel today. The trolls will always come. And listen, trolls ain't worth worrying about, right? They've never done anything with their lives. They'll never get out. They sit there like that with a cans of lager. They're just no good. They will never do anything. They talk shit all their life, and that's why they're trolls at the end of it. Kew Gardens, Hi Sue Ellen, a mud horse, and they're dead now. If not, I want what they're eating. What are you talking about? Juicy and Lucy, the laws unto themselves. Let me have a look. Anything else out there? To arrange a seminar near you, find a venue and then contact Juicy, the PR team at the English Constitution Society. Marine mechanic, no, he was given British citizen. He is not English. Who said that? Yeah, changed my picture. There's a big difference between British. People are not getting. It's so simple to understand it. It's the indoctrination that people have got to get their heads around to say, now we understand it. We're English. We're indigenous. That's who we are. If multiple generation black or brown person is here, they would be culturally English by now, right? And you'll find that most of the people that are turning against the English now, especially these jihadists and other groups of people out there, second generation, just to let you know. Well, it's a simple answer. Send them back. Don't even spell your correctly in the title. Who's that? Let me have a look. My great-grandfather was Irish. So am I Irish or English? My great-grandfather was Irish. So am I Irish or English? Fuck me. Is it this fucking hard for people to get this? I don't give a fuck if your fucking grandfather was Irish. Was you born in England? And technically, right, to be in an English parliament, it was the dominions of England. So Ireland was a dominion of England. So you were regarded as an Englishman. Tracy Truism, Graham RMA, Tracy Palmer, English Constitution Party. Yeah, but pre-British state. What are you on about now? Matrix on thanks pendant. Right. Ace Jace. The British are traitors in an English parliament. Yeah, they need to. So it's no longer an English parliament. It's a British parliament. It's a British political union parliament. The British flag is the flag of parliament. Doesn't represent anyone outside. Doesn't represent the Shires, and it's no longer representing England as a country. And the Scots are overrepresented, and you can see that from what Sir William Wade wrote. English DD, fellow patriots. Is that a troll in chat? Probably. You'll notice there'll be an increase in trolls. But what we rely on are our moderators getting rid of them trolls, right? Them trolls have got everything going for them. They've got the BBC, right? Hopefully one day with Restore Britain being in government, we'll shut down the BBC and they'll have to start paying for the propaganda, right? And they can pay for it. They'll like it when they're trolling. Hope he dumps the union rag. England will prevail. Yeah, no, it will indeed. And again, people don't like the fact that we're talking about England. All of a sudden, the English have started talking about and saying, yeah, no, I'm English, right? Go back to the 2011 census. 32.4 million people, 57% of the population, for the first time ever, was allowed to put English-only national identity, right? The ones who couldn't work it out, who was a bit, I don't know, confused, right, or indoctrinated, right, they was 19% who said British-only national identity, right? That's 11 million people. Half of the 11 million people are complete foreigners, right? It's not difficult to sort this country out. But for some reason, these IFO-nats and they talk about us being civ-nats, right? The ultimate civ-nat is British. And then they can't see it. That's how I don't like being disrespectful to them, but that is fucking low IQ. It's like whoop whoop, and all they want to do is cause problems in the background. That's why they've never got anywhere, by the way, because of the way they are. Whereas I will talk to anyone and say, listen, I'll respect your opinions and I'll listen to you. They won't. They're not interested. They keep pushing forward with no, we are the British. Fuck off. They're the enemy. Anyone C19 was just the beginning. We win good wins. I don't know what that means. Let me have a look. Anyone else got anything out there? Taffy Pat, too much British pushing purposely confused. No, Taffy Pat, you get it. You've always got it. High IQ. People that just go, now I get it. And the amount of people I talk to within 10 minutes of that subject go, got it. I understand, right? And that's what they fear the most. And I will say this to anyone listening, right? I want everyone to understand this. You're talking about deporting all these people. If you are dual nationality with any other country, you're not English, you're not British. When we take it away, you are going to fuck off to that country that you have dual allegiance to. You are a threat to this nation. So I'm specific. Who do you think I'm talking about? Because I'm going to tell you now who I'm talking about. There's a number of British people out there, right, that have got dual nationality. And you're all going to be, I think most of you will be surprised by who I'm talking about. If you have American dual nationality, you are being deported to America, right? And if you want to be this divisive group of people, which you have been in this country, go and fucking do it over there. And obviously some others that will be deported. Crystal clear, Graham. Hello? Yeah, fuck the British bullshit. No, again, people are getting it. Recognition Act. See the students. Let's have a look here. How many? I don't know how many people are watching at the moment. We're up above 500. I think watching currently. And that's covering all the channels which come up on my total screen. But the more you share, the more this gets out there. Hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, because we need to get this channel over the 10,000 mark on Rumble. The British hate Rumble, right? Get it up there. We need to hit the subscribe button, share, and also like the video. So if you can get 100 likes within the hour, I'm not going to be doing a terribly long video here, because I do need to operate my back, not just sit here, although it's been a lot better with this chair. In fact, my wonderful assistant, who is sitting to the left of me, she's been massaging my back with DMSO. That's the first one of them I've had for a long time. You ever tasted it? Taste it.
They look very appetizing.
The whole... What, you don't like it?
Filth.
That's healthy.
That's vile.
No, that's because you washed up using the wrong dishcloth.
Oh.
Andy, I bet she has. Let's have a Paul. Paul TMI. What's TMI? Paul Rumbling, TMI. Telemedia International. Do you know what TMI is? I was reading that the word British originally referred to someone from Brittany or is a Frenchman. Archonot. The word British originated from the colonies, and it was before they created the union. But even when they created the union, because we was the British Isles, they refer to us as British, bit like Americans. But if you go out to America and you spoke to a Texan or a Floridian or someone in the States, they're independent states. They're independent nations in their own right. Too much information. DD, too much information. Boys.
Massage.
No, not that type of... No, I mean a general, proper DMSO massage. Ah! It's hurting me leaving formally. Just joined, so need to head back to the start. But I like what I'm hearing already. Have a fab day. There you go. Pete's People, DD, booked Thetford. Who's speaking? I don't know who's speaking at Thetford. I know that they've booked for me to come along there. So I will be there. It should be. I like it because it's chilled out. They've got the music. People can just chill out and talk to each other. Let me have a look. Tracy, British, absolute bloody mighty trouble in making a bunch. Will be the tide be turned? Let me have a quick look. Right, any other questions for anyone? Because I'm not going to do a long one, only because I want to sort my back out. So for a week or so, I'm going to be cutting them as short as I possibly can, but tuning in every night, still pushing forward certain things. There's some other stuff I've got to do here, and I forgot what it is. But we will be doing something. Let me have a quick look. We'll have a fab day. Archer's not, and the pineapple cider too. Yeah, tomorrow demonstration on the pelvic tilt. Do you want the pelvic tilt? I'll stand at the bar doing that tonight. They was giving me a strange look. We walked in the bar. There was 13 geezers, no women whatsoever, right? And Janet went to me, "Is this a gay bar?" No, we don't think so. It's just all men in the pub. All the women was out there doing their dinners. Let me have a look. Ace Jace, no DD, partied last time, laugh out loud. What was that? Archer not, hello. Anything else? Graham, what do you think of Rupert Lowe? I don't trust anyone, but I like a lot of what he says. I think the problem with Rupert Lowe is he is being advised by people who are products of the slow march through the institution, in particular universities. I currently believe that they're not interested in working class people who are self-educated in the English Constitution. That's my genuine opinion, and therefore, if they don't have that doorway and listen to that, what we're talking about of what the real English Constitution is, it could very easily go seriously pear-shaped. What's the name of how to read a law book from the other day? I think you're talking about that one. Reading law. The interpretations of legal text. Anthony Scalia and Brian A. Garner. That's a fantastic book. And in case you don't know who they are, they're on the back. Great book. And it is really helpful. I was impressed when I went up to Cumbria that one of the guys I was talking to, Marcy, I said, like, if you was to read a book, reading law, and he went, come out to my law, and then above his computer he had a law library, right? And he pulled it out. He went, that one. I went, that's it. And then what we was talking about, by the way, he's just he was in the military. He's an electrician, intelligent, taught himself law. Bang on the money, the geezer. Low's got a larger proportion of land dedicated to rewilding, which is a puzzle. Not really. Rewilding to some extent is a good thing, because you have to allow the land. If you know anything about farming, you do need to allow the land to recover. Good point, Gunnar Mums. Don't know what that was. Ask Rupert if he would ever chat. I'm still waiting. The more you email and contact Rupert Lowe and Restore and say, listen, why don't you just accept a discussion with Graham Moore or a seminar where he presents to you and tells you, and you can ask him questions and say, well, what does the Constitution say about this? QQ, in Parliament, they have a row of law books on the table. What books are they? I don't know, is the answer. I've never been close enough to have a look at them. But there is a Constitution of Parliament separate to the Constitution of England that governs Parliament. The same as shires and counties have their own constitutions. Some cities have their own constitutions. People need to understand what it's about. Brilliant. Actually, be in my own town. The land needs to lay foul. Okay. There is nothing wrong with rewilding. No. And also, he did something else that I really liked, Rupert Lowe, and that was that he planted a load of trees. And there's an old saying, I can't remember, if I could bring it up on the screen, I'd bring it up for you. But it was something like the elderly man who plants oak trees, when he will never get the benefit of the shade, because he's going to die by the time it's a big oak tree, but he's doing it as completely selfish act for the next generation. And that's what I think when you plant trees. If I was to buy a farm tomorrow with a number of acres, I would plant trees knowing that those trees were capable of paying off a bit of the mortgage in 30 years' time. Fellow mud horse, I like wildflowers. I will be getting round to sorting out a merch shop like that. Chuck money, I've planted tons of trees. Merch shop. Just to let you know, I wonder if I've got that on here. Let's see if I can bring that up. Oh, there it is. Just to let you know, this, make sure there's nothing on my screen that can go pear-shaped from that. I will show you. This is trademarked to us, right? Just to make sure you are aware of this. Window, entire screen. Let me have a look. Entire screen, share. I'm not sure I'm going to do this, but here it is on the screen. Can you all see this? Not sure if you can see it on the screen. England, there is a white dragon, take back control. That is trademarked and copyrighted to me from 20, whatever it was, a long time ago. But that is mine and my copyright. Did you all see that? Just to make sure you can see it. Did you all see that on the screen? In other words, if anyone else uses that at all, I can sue them. And the wording. That is my copyright. Did you see it on the screen? You're sharing the wrong screen. Oh, bollocks. Well, let me try. Let me, if I'm sharing the wrong screen, let me see if I can pass it over to this screen. Let me see, because that's what it did. It said another screen. There it is. I'll see if you can see it. There's and I've got loads of classes with it as well. Let's see if I can go back to this and show you all. Where are we? I've lost my little. I've lost it. Oh, there it is. Entire screen there. Tell me if you can see that on the screen. All right, so it's a trademark. I've had that for years. It's England, that dragon, the white dragon, and Take Back Control. I've also got takebackcontrol.vote as a website. And there's some other things that we're doing. So making sure everyone that didn't come up right. Can you all see that on the screen now? Give me an English flag if you can see that. That's the original English flag. Well, actually, the Whiffin is. It's a toss-up between a four and a two-legged dragon. And both Erling. Can you see that? Right, so that is an actual trademark registered to me. Right, I own that trademark. So we can start getting things made up and doing things with that and selling it, and it's mine. Swellen and Woven. Can you all see that on there? Right. I can't remember when the trademark come out. Let me have a look. Intellectual Property Office. I certify that the file is a true copy of an application to register a certificate of filing, and then it was all agreed, sent through to me, and it is a actual, and there's loads of it. It is an actual copyright, right, or a trademark, and that is mine. Just to let you know. I'll take that off the screen for a second. I might have to take that one down again, or I could put it back somewhere else, but no, I'll leave it up there for now. Company Girl, good evening. So don't forget, sharing is caring, right? So when you share this, more and more people are getting out there to directly talk to this audience. You're the one that are getting people engaged with us. I still want to talk to Tucker Carlson, to sit down and have a proper conversation with him about the English Constitution, about the United States of America, and if he wants to bring in Thomas Massey. I know some people in America don't like Thomas Massey, right? But I think me and Thomas Massey are aligned because we're both saying, listen, just abide by the Constitution, you'd solve all these problems, and you're not doing it. That's as simple as you get. And again, some Americans don't like him, whereas he's just saying, just go back to the Constitution. Jimmy just did some sharing. The more you share, the more you care. Subscribe because we want to get this channel up, right? There is a book coming. I am going to be working on that book. At the moment, I'm still aligning with some bits and pieces that I've got to work out. And we're going to do this book, and we're going to write this book from an Englishman's point of view, right? I'm going to be talking about the counties and shires. I'm going to be telling people exactly what our constitution is. In that book, I will tell you all the references you need to look for, where you need to go and find this information, right? And to homeschoolers and to people, even in universities, if they want to know what the real constitution is, they can read it and understand that we are being shafted by the British. I am English and proud. I'm very... Sean Andrew Worrell, I'm very, very pleased to hear it. Taffy Pat, the traitors within are frightened of our constitution. Sticker DD Worthern. Do you think Tucker is a traitor? No, I don't. Why would I believe Tucker is a traitor? I believe Tucker is honest. I think there is fear out there. Whether it is a realistic fear or not, I'm not sure, that Tucker will run for president and cause a big, serious problem. And his vice president could be Thomas Massey. Then you would start seeing some serious problems. because they will just, and hopefully things are being put in place for that. Does anyone watch John Waters from Ireland on Substack? No. Why? Guna Mum. I will say something else. I've seen something else today. I'm not even sure where it is on this. Let's see if I can go and find it, Phil. There's something I get a bit funny about. And I know that you would all be going to me, no, there's nothing wrong with them. But that Promethean lot, whoever they are, I'm not having a bitch. I'm just telling you straight. They've sent out a short today, and in it they're talking about the British and saying that the British consider everyone to be animals and are having no souls, right? What they're failing to tell you is not the British to think that, it's the fucking Jews and the Talmud, right? And the fact that they don't mention the Jesuits, and the fact that they don't mention the Jewish mafia, and the fact that they don't mention the Talmud, and the people that are really controlling the British are them groups of people, right? That's why I don't trust them. And the fact that they're being promoted, and they are being promoted on YouTube and other platforms, you've got to be very careful of them people. Tucker is changing his tune. What do you mean changing his tune? Yeah, Paul's rumbling. Let's have a look. Any other questions from anyone? Hopefully we've gone through a few things tonight. There's a load more things I want to do, but I've got to do some more research tomorrow. Crypto Rich likes them on his podcast. Yeah. The Who and WEF. You've only got to see, if you go and have a look at the likes and the propagation and natural word of mouth, go and have a look at this. Liam Tufts, I think, is 110,000 views in a week. If you look at the Heritage Party, you go back to 2024, and I'm not having a bitch at Dave Curtin. He was kind enough to invite me to do a constitutional speech to the party. I think he's had 24,000 views. And then when you look at the leader of the party, which is David Curtin, he had currently to date 2,400 views. Right. So, and then if you look at Dino Bain, can't remember what that's had now, probably 20,000, 24,000 views in a couple of days. You can see that people want us to talk about this. We are the largest group of people being suppressed on every part of social media, and it's by design, right? So the only way we're going to get this out, and why we have to continue in doing seminars and getting the information out, and it's the education of presenting this to people, that people understand it and walk away and say, no, we get it. We understand what's going on. Around 30k on Dino Bone. And again, Dino Bone, right? I enjoy watching him. I enjoy his shows. I enjoy his channel. You can have disagreements about certain things, but the left technically don't have massively open debate about their disagreements. They just keep marching forward and take control. And that's what we've got to do. And if we don't do it, England's lost forever. You won't get it back once it's gone. David Curtin, it seems, a fundamentally good bloke. I like David Curtin. Fantastic, DD. Let's have a look there. Considering how censored we all are, we're doing very well. No, I agree. We are massively censored. And if anyone says algorithm to you, that's another word for censorship. Check out Liam Tuff's interview with Graham. Absolutely epic. There's a lot more I could have said to him. And if you drill down and just stick to one subject and cover it, whereas we covered quite a few subjects, but he said he was fascinating, and he was. And he's a genuinely nice fella. A lot of these people, I don't mean this in a rude way, are just ignorant, right? But they're ignorant by design. And that's the bit that people have got to understand. Paul Cook Channel. Cute question. How much is the THB 1000 Dino super chat to Vindicator? About a tenner, I think. About a tenner. It just looks like a lot of money, did it? Dino Bain Graham, give Dino Bain a big thank you. Yeah, no, send him big thanks. Dino Bain is a wonderful person. The hard work is paying off, it feels, DD. No, it is. But again, we can't afford, we have to keep the canter going, right? It's not a full race and a sprint. Keep going. Do what they've done. Keep nudging away until in the end they get it. But certainly, Tucker Carlson would be a fantastic interview if you can all email him and send out the details to him. There's a few other people I can think of, but we definitely need some assistance with that. And again, Rupert Lowe, we're not asking that he changes any policies. All we're asking is he listens to us. With the English Constitution Society, an educational society about the English Constitution. I don't understand why he wouldn't want to. Unless they've all got their heads up their arses because they've been to university and think they know best. Which we all know they don't. Simon Lacey, oi, Chuck. Right, that's it. Good night. God bless. I am going. Dino Bain is mentioning the word English more since he talked to you, DD. Dino Bain is an absolute blinding geezer, right? That's all you got to remember. Just a blinding geezer. And some people, no one can understand everything that I've read about the English Constitution and England, right? We've all read slightly different things. You're all going to have, it's like if you watch the BBC and so-and-so watches Channel 4 and someone else watches, I don't know, fucking Ding Bang Bong Wing Wang Wong from Hong Kong, you're going to have fucking different opinions on things, right? Whereas all I do is read from the archives and read old law books. That's my thing. And then I say, so why is it our ancestors regarded, no one ever called them Muslims. They was always Mohammedans. That's what they was called, Mohammedans. And again, no one talks about the Jesuits anymore. The Jesuits are just as fucking dangerous now as they was then. Anyway, I'm not going to go into a rant. Good evening, good night, God bless to everyone. Don't forget sharing this, caring, hit the like button. Tell me, and my little finger keeps clicking. See that finger? Look, it's just bent and it won't go straight, right? And then if I push it, it flicks like that. And it starts to become painful. Night DD. Militia 16-8, Chuck Money, how you doing? Yeah, good night, God bless. And don't forget what I believe in. The Constitution is the solution. Au revoir, tiddly poo. I am off. Good night, God bless. See you later.